It is March 15th and day 54 of the Trump presidency. Wasn't it the Ides of March yesterday? I don't know. There was a lot of astrology girlies on TikTok predicting the downfall of certain individuals. Hey, let's try something. I'm going to start this news segment by telling you a rumor. Usually I save those for the end, but this one's just too good. I did not verify this in any way, shape, or form. This is a rumor. And I don't even want to verify it because I would like to just believe that this is true. So, there was a video going viral saying that Marco Rubio has leaked text messages. I can't remember who he sent them to. Somebody else in government. Saying that he walked into the Oval Office and that Trump was like either laying down or like sitting with his like legs straight out on the floor. And that Elon Musk was was like curled up in his lap in the fetal position with like his head in his lap, and that Trump was like petting him and trying to comfort him, and that Elon was crying. Again, I really would like that to be true, so I'm not gonna verify it. I'm sorry. Also, I did not charge my microphone. I'm a little bit of a mess because I have a really big interview next week that is 90 minutes long, and this weekend I am prepping for it. I just did a try-on of a bunch of different corporate nerd clothes that I bought because I don't have any like video. I've been working remotely for a very long time and I have not had to do video presentations in over a year, so I've been just, chilling in my sweatshirts, and things could potentially change and I'd like to be prepared. Anyways, yeah, and I'm also going to be wearing like a nerd suit coat for Tuesday. Anyways, I'll update you guys with what happens. So let's get a little bit more serious here. Trump has ordered strikes on the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Again, like, who is he not provoking a war with at this point? It's in the capital. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, and I'm so sorry. Sana'a. It's SNAA. And like he's basically saying he's going to continue to attack them until they stop their attacks on the waterways where we're shipping. It's all about like American money. What else is new? I guess there's like a waterway where we ship things through, and he's claiming that they are, I think I've heard headlines about them like taking over vessels and stuff that are shipping different items. At one point, I think it was weapons going to Israel, actually, if I remember correctly. This was a long time ago, but I remember it being kind of a big deal. So he also, in the process of this, threatened Iran to stay out of this and to stop supporting the Houthis. And he recently has also threatened Iran about the nuclear weapons situation, claiming that they're ramping up their nuclear weapons manufacturing and telling them it's unacceptable, yada yada. There are 13 civilians dead in Sana'a so far. Not good. Yeah, we are making enemies of essentially everyone in the entire world right now. So that's not where we want things to be, to say the least. This is something that a lot of people who have a deep understanding of history have been really scared of. Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798? Anyways, it has not been invoked since World War II. He has invoked this act to basically detain, deport, apprehend individuals that are part of a cartel called Tren de Agua. It's a cartel from Venezuela, I believe. And opening this door, it sort of gives the government carte blanche to just detain people And this is why, that's the reason why so many people were freaked out by the idea of him doing this. I remember even before he came into office, people were saying, like, this is going to be, like, the thing that, where we turn a corner. Kind of like a point of no return. I think that there will be legal pushback against this, because this is usually reserved for wartime, when there are, like, true enemies. You know, again, World War II. Nazis. So, I don't know, man. It's not good. There's a lot of things happening that are really bad. Speaking of really bad things happening, there are storms all across the Midwest and South right now that are really severe. Actually, if I knew how to add videos or pictures to this video, I would show you a picture of a tree that blew over down the street from me, and I'm all the way in Michigan. So I'm pretty far north of where this storm is. It's more like south of me, like Illinois. I know it's like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, I don't know. There's a bunch of states. It's basically like a whole swath of states. It's going to make it all the way to the East Coast, actually. And it's really high winds, tons of tornadoes, flash floods, severe thunderstorms, etc. There are 11 people, Missouri. There's 11 people dead in Missouri, 3 dead from a car crash that was caused by the wind in Texas. I did see a lot of images of semis, like, literally blown over while they were driving. That's how fast the winds are and how strong. And there are some dead in Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. It's, I believe, going to continue for at least another 24 hours. And a lot of places are under severe weather warnings right now. So yeah, everybody stay safe. If you're in one of those areas, please pay attention and follow directions. Like, if they tell you to evacuate, you evacuate. Especially with flash floods, the way that they've been flash flooding these days, it's not a joke. You know what I mean? I just think about some of the most devastating severe weather events we've had in this country this year, and it's horrible. Like, what happened in Asheville is nightmare fuel. And I don't think that they're nowhere near recovered. And now with the government cuts to FEMA, I don't even know, like, that government spending bill that just passed, I can't remember the total amount that they're cutting from. What are they calling it? It's basically like unnecessary, anything that doesn't involve them controlling our military, basically. So anything that just is like to help people, they're done. They're done with it. And it passed because Chuck Schumer is a fucking piece of shit. People are so mad about that, by the way. I did not do any kind of headline about this today, but I'll just slip this in here. I guess Nancy Pelosi was, like, trying to stop him from doing what he did. So there is, like, a really intense rift in the Democratic Party right now. I think he's going to get ousted. There's people saying that they want AOC to primary him. I don't know what's going to happen. But the Democratic Party is fucked. Like, so fucked. It's not, I don't know if they can recover from this. I mean, it always sounds like a pipe dream to think that we could ever have more than just a 2-party system, but other places do. I don't know what's going to happen in this country. We are in a very interesting growth spurt. I mean, that's probably not a very accurate analogy, but if a heart attack was a growth spurt, then yes. I don't know. We're changing form. We're changing into a werewolf. I don't know what's happening. So Trump has also signed an order to gut American media, like news agencies that are government funded. So we have several that I don't know that they're like broadcast overseas as well. One is called Voice of America. That's kind of the number one. And there's several others, but he is pulling funding from all of those. The Voice of America director said that all of their employees have already been put on leave. There's 1,300 people. It's essentially, these news organizations are meant to promote democracy around the world. We don't need that anymore. We know that's not a priority for him. Anyway, I was also just listening to Pod Save America, and they were talking about how Trump is possibly going to create what's called a stable coin, and this is in relation to crypto. It is literally, it would be like Trump's own money, like a dollar that Trump created that is crypto, that is untraceable. It's so fucked. I'm gonna read a lot more about it, and maybe we'll talk about it again tomorrow. It's, you know, Pod Save America, they were saying this is like single-handedly the most corrupt thing that has ever potentially happened ever within a government, and I agree. Imagine them having, like, imagine them being able to just like completely destroy and crash the dollar and replace it with like Trump monopoly money. That's literally basically, it seems like that may be the actual plan, because they're getting ready to potentially pardon some kind of crypto crime guy. I can't remember his name. Anyways, we'll talk about this tomorrow, but it's fucked. Not good at all. Cuba has been suffering these massive power outages where millions of people have no power. I cannot fathom. For sometimes like weeks. I think maybe it's even gotten like upwards of a month before. And they are going through that again. And I feel like this is like the 4th or 5th time it's happened this year. I do not understand power grids or how countries supply power to other countries. I do not understand it. But I know that obviously that happens. Like, we are getting power here from Canada. And I know that power grids can be extremely vulnerable. And I know that obviously like attacking another country's power grid is an act of war, etc. I don't understand exactly what's causing Cuba's power outages. I feel like I've read about it. Again, my brain is like baby food. It's not just mush. It's like, you know, I don't know, non-functioning mush with some vitamins in it. This is really sad, but it's never really stopped. So Israel just is still essentially striking Gaza over and over again. There's always some fucking excuse. They just killed 9 more people. A bunch of them were aid workers. Some of them were civilians. You know, they never stop. They never have stopped. Even during the ceasefires, they just continue to do what they want. Because again, like, who is stopping them? Clearly, especially not us. And not, the pushback that they were getting from Biden at the end, which was never enough for leftists, it was never enough for whoever. And I understand that. You know, they're not getting that anymore. No. Now they're getting under the table real estate deals. And Trump saying, you have carte blanche, do it whatever you want. We don't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what happens to anyone. He barely gives a shit about his own kids, you know? Anyway. Speaking of not giving shit about humans, so Trump's cuts have basically crippled the Housing and Urban Development Agency, HUD, and it has essentially restricted HUD's ability to protect people in like fair housing situations because you know, they don't have employees. They don't, like, the people that have been working on those cases are literally no longer there. And this is kind of like, if you can't undo civil rights, you can just cripple them, right? And this, you know, so the Fair Housing Act, which was implemented in 1968, yes, it was one of the biggest milestones of the civil rights movement because it prevented discrimination based on race, etc., which was an enormous problem. Like, people would not give mortgages to Black people. And it has stopped that for decades now. And it's still a problem. Honestly, like, it's still a problem in many places. There were 34,000 fair housing complaints last year. The article I read is in NPR. I do not remember what it's called, but if you just literally probably go to Google and type in HUD NPR, I'm sure it'll come up. And it was a really sad story about a mom to an autistic child who had very loud vocal stimming, and they had moved into an apartment. She told the landlord before they moved in. She even like went and met with the neighbors and said, sometimes my child can be loud. They're still trying to evict her after her husband just lost his job. They don't have anywhere else to go. She's really scared. And her case was being handled by HUD, and now her case manager is gone, like doesn't work there anymore, was fired. So that is like just an example, and I'm sure there's thousands of cases like hers where people are in really probably illegal situations and there's no one to protect them because HUD received a lot of funding from the government. So I think you can sort of like see how this snowballs into an issue where, discrimination is just completely rampant again because there's no one to enforce these discrimination laws. And the agencies that do it either no longer exist or are completely crippled. And so it puts people in a situation in general across the board, whether we're talking about like people trying to figure out why their social security check isn't there and the website doesn't work anymore, or we're talking about people trying to file a discrimination case against like their housing development. It's all the same. Like there's not going to be anyone to help us. So anyway, Trump, Marco Rubio, via Trump, has banned South Africa's ambassador from the United States. Sure is interesting how much emphasis is being placed on South Africa. Kind of a weird coincidence, right, with Elon Musk. First of all, good for this dude. I did not write down his first name. His last name is Rasul. He called MAGA out for the fact that MAGA is essentially, the MAGA movement is a response to white fear that the white population in the United States is shrinking and that we will not be the majority within, I know it's within 10 years. And that MAGA is seeking to course correct and create a boom in white babies being born here and to literally deport black, brown, anyone they can that is not white. And I applaud him for calling that out, and now they are saying that he is not welcome in the United States. They said he hates Trump and he hates America, yada yada. No, we all just hate you. We hate you guys. You're disgusting. You're an embarrassment to the human race. People like you should have no access to any position of authority, and I mean literally, you should not even be a manager at a fucking bowling alley. And I'm dead serious. Like the paradox of tolerance, I think I was trying to remember what that was called the other night. We cannot be tolerant to white supremacy. When we are tolerant to white supremacy, World War II happens. So in order to maintain an empathetic, functional society, you must be intolerant to intolerance. And you must meet it with force. You must shame them back into hiding. I do not tolerate white supremacy. And you need to be able to just fucking come right out and say that. And they are really pushing it when it comes to trying to claim, basically they're supporting Nazi propaganda. Oh, Elon Musk, I forgot about this, damn it. Every time I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh yeah, this. Normally what I do is throughout the day when headlines pop up, or if I see something, I'll take a quick screenshot so I won't forget it, but there was no screenshot for this because I heard it. Elon Musk reposted on X and then took it down. Shit, what the hell did she say? It was some white supremacist that said, am I going to be able to remember this? God damn it. I don't think so. I mean, it was just something, some Nazi propaganda that was absolutely disgusting. I don't know. I'll have to go look it up. Maybe I'll remember to include it tomorrow. Probably not. You should go and see if you can Google, because he deleted the post afterwards. He was getting, I guess he's getting like a ton of heat for it. I mean, honestly, it's hard for me to remember because he is doing this constantly. He's constantly reposting Nazi propaganda on X. I mean, I know he was like reinforcing the AfD in Germany saying that there should be no shame about World War II. That's what, oh, fuck. Okay, I remembered. Okay. He reposted something by some woman saying that Stalin and Hitler were not responsible for deaths, but that it was the labor parties that were responsible for the deaths that happened in World War II. And that is interesting because it is similar to the narrative that they're trying to create here, that they are blameless for all that happens and for all that will happen moving forward, and that it is like the general public that is responsible for their own demise, even though they are cutting us off at the knees. Anyways, again, they're monsters. Literal monsters. I will never budge from that. I will go on record saying that, even if it ends up getting me thrown in the slammer. Oh well. This is so fucking embarrassing. And it's the last headline. Honestly, thank God. UN agencies have just received a questionnaire from the United States asking a series of 36 questions about whether or not UN agencies have links to communism and if they have anti-American sentiment. Anyways, literal Nazis. And, you know, I hope and I pray that people in other countries understand how many of us, A, don't believe that this election was legitimate, because it fucking wasn't. And there's evidence of that in other, I mean, they've interfered with elections in other countries. The same group of motherfucking bastards have. And there's evidence of it, and I think that there's like legal action coming down about it. Every time. Okay, sorry, I just had another memory that AOC was saying something about additional legal ramifications for Trump. Like, this was literally like a day ago. I need to go look into that. I saw that video kind of in the middle of the night, like at almost midnight, and I was like, hey, I need to remember this tomorrow, but I didn't. Anyways, I don't know what's ever going to come of it, and maybe nothing, but I will never believe that this election was legitimate. And I just hope that people in other countries understand, because I think that there is this thing about threats and war and etc., where people group countries into like one mentality. Like, people, there's a lot of people here doing that to Israel, right? Israel is not a homogenous thing. We're seeing Netanyahu pushing a narrative. And I'm sure there are some people that support him, and there's a lot of people who live in Israel who do not, although a lot of them have already fled Israel. But my point is, you cannot take a country, especially not a country of 365 million fucking people, and say that we all support Trump, because we sure don't. And I just wish humans would remember that, because this is how collective punishment happens. People will group an entire group of people in together without realizing, like, that's not an accurate, way to look at this at all. I understand why it happens. I think our brains are built this way, probably for a reason. I mean, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years ago, I don't know. I don't recall like when like Homo sapiens first got here, but The point is, our brains were built to only see a small handful of other humans in our entire existence, like in our whole lifetime. And so stranger danger is like a real thing, and it's still in there. It's still in our amygdala, and I think we are built to other people in some ways for like self-protection reasons. But I do believe we have the ability to consciously override stuff like that through education and through just awareness of ourselves and reminding ourselves, like, no, not all of Israel is responsible for what Netanyahu is doing. And we are not all responsible for what Trump is doing just because we live in America. I'm sorry, we're not. Anyways, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat my dinner. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.